She texted, "I'm crashing at my coworker's place. His partner is totally fine with it." And I stare at my phone like the words might rearrange themselves into something less sharp. My thumb hovered over the screen. The typing bubble blinked and disappeared. I could almost hear the quiet hum of our kitchen behind me. The coffee I made 10 minutes ago had gone cold. I read the message again and again. Naomi Parker had never asked for permission in our 5 years together. She had always informed me. But this time, something about the tone felt rehearsed. Something about his partner is totally fine with it didn't sound like her. It sounded like she was covering for something before I even asked. I set the phone down and tried to breathe normally. But my chest stayed tight. The clock on the wall ticked louder than usual. We lived in a clean, glass-front townhouse in Westfield. Everything in it was curated, minimalist, ordered, predictable, except this. Except tonight. I picked the phone back up and typed slowly. "Which coworker?" I stared at the message for a second, then hit send. 3 dots appeared instantly, then stopped, then came back again, then stopped again. Finally, her reply came through. "Ethan." My jaw tightened without me realizing it. Ethan Caldwell. I knew the name. She had mentioned him in passing. Always casually. Always insignificant. At least that's how it had felt then. I typed again. "Didn't know you were that close." There was a longer pause this time. So long I thought she might not reply at all. Then her message came. "It's just easier. I have an early meeting. His place is closer to the office." It sounded reasonable. Too reasonable. Every sentence felt like it had been edited before it reached me. I leaned back against the counter. Something was off. Not loud. Not obvious. But there. Like a faint crack in glass you only notice when the light hits it just right. I called her. It rang twice. Then went to voicemail. I didn't leave one. I just stood there, holding the silence in my hand, trying to decide if I was overthinking or finally seeing clearly. Because the truth was simple. If nothing was wrong, this wouldn't feel like this. I walked into the living room and sat down. The couch felt colder than usual. I opened her contact again, scrolled up through our messages. Normal conversations. Photos. Inside jokes. Plans. And then slowly, as I kept scrolling, I started noticing something I hadn't before. Gaps. Moments where her replies had become shorter. More functional. Less like her. I stopped scrolling. Because once you start looking for change, you always find it. I set the phone down again. Then picked it up. Then put it down. My body couldn't decide what to do. My mind kept replaying her message. His partner is totally fine with it. Why mention that? Why include that detail unless you expected me to question it? And if she expected me to question it, then she knew it looked wrong, which meant she knew something I didn't. I stood up abruptly, grabbed my keys. I didn't think. I just moved, because sitting still felt worse. The drive to her office took 15 minutes. I wasn't even sure why I was going there. Instinct, maybe, or something deeper, something quieter, the kind of knowing you try to ignore. When I got there, the parking lot was almost empty. Just a few scattered cars. None of them hers. I parked anyway. Sat there, watching the building, trying to make sense of what I was doing. Then my phone buzzed. A new message from Naomi. "I'll call you later. Don't wait up." That line hit differently. Colder. Detached. Like a door closing without a sound. I stared at the message for a long time. Then something inside me shifted. Not anger. Not yet. Something calmer. More precise. I opened my laptop when I got back home. Logged into our shared calendar. Scrolled through her upcoming week. Everything looked normal. Meetings. Deadlines. Appointments. But then I saw it. A recurring event. Late evening. Every Thursday. Labeled simply, "Work Catch Up." I clicked on it. No details. No location. Just time. And it had been there for 3 months. 3 months. Every Thursday. I leaned back slowly, trying to keep my breathing steady. Tonight was Thursday. I closed the laptop. Sat in the quiet again. But this time it felt different. Less confused. More focused. Because now it wasn't about one message. It was about a pattern. And patterns don't lie. I didn't sleep that night. I just waited. At 1:42 a.m., I heard the front door unlock. Soft. Careful. Like she didn't want to wake anyone. She stepped inside quietly. Set her bag down. Kicked off her heels. Then froze when she saw me sitting in the dark. Our eyes met, and in that moment, everything unspoken filled the room. She didn't look surprised. She looked prepared, like she had been rehearsing this. "Hey," she said softly. I didn't respond. I just watched her, waiting. She walked a little closer. Not too close. Just enough. "You're still up." It wasn't a question. It was an observation. "I went to your office," I said finally. Her expression didn't change. I had already left. I nodded slowly. And Ethan, a slight pause, barely noticeable. He was already home. I stood up then. The space between us felt heavier than before. And his partner? This time, the pause was longer. Not accidental. Intentional. She wasn't there. The words landed quietly. But they echoed, because that was the first crack she didn't try to cover. I took a step closer. "And you still stayed?" She held my gaze. "Yes." There it was. No excuses. No deflection. Just truth. But not the whole truth. Not yet. And the silence that followed said more than anything else could. Because in that silence, I realized something I hadn't before. This wasn't about Ethan. It wasn't even about tonight. It was about something that had already changed long before this moment. Something I had felt, but ignored. Something she had acted on, before I even knew I was losing her. And as she stood there, calm, steady, almost detached, I understood one thing with absolute clarity. Whatever had started on those Thursday nights wasn't over yet.